Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Voices from the Village. Today we have Mr. Brad Williamson joining us, and we're very excited to hear his story. But before we get started, just wanted to introduce myself for those of you who don't know. My name is Katie Motzinger, and I'm the Director of Development and Marketing here at the Children's Attention Home. The Children's Attention Home, if you're not familiar, is a home where youth who are in foster care as well as youth who are in unstable housing situations can come and stay and receive life-changing care and nurturing care and services that will really help them build a foundation that they may not have had for moving forward successfully in life. So everything from basic needs to independent living, and really setting them up to be on their own is our goal. And so it takes a village to do that. And so we have wonderful folks like Brad that help us make that happen. And so welcome, Brad. Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate
Thanks for having me, Katie.
So first off, can you just share with everybody listening just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So Brad Williamson, I work for Daimler Truck North America. My family and I live in Waxhaw. And so I'm a marketing professional and a baseball coach as a hobby, and a dad and a father and a husband and all those wonderful things.
Well, so tell us a little bit about how you first heard about the Children's Attention Home.
Sure. It was actually through work. My team wanted to do some volunteer work, and someone found the Attention Home, and we were there. We fixed up the home a little bit, got rid of some leaves, did some painting, I think, and some cleaning. And then that's really where I heard the story of the Attention Home for the first time. And it definitely touched me and brought me in.
That's awesome. So what is it after that that's okay, we were able to do, which we greatly appreciate, by the way. It takes a lot to make sure our campus stays maintained and up to date and all of that. So what is it that inspired you to do more with the home?
Yeah, so really my story goes back to Michigan, where I'm originally from. We've been down here in the Carolinas for about 12 years. In Michigan, we've been running a charity golf outing for 25 years, and we've actually been involved with a charity very similar. It's called the Whaley Children's Home, very similar to what the Attention Home does, for probably 35 years. That started a long, long time ago. And I was looking for something like that. We still do the one up there in Michigan. We still go back every summer. But we had been looking, my family and I had been looking for something down here. When I found the Attention Home, it fit. And, you know, it was like, yeah, we want to do this here because we're now living here, and we put roots down. So that was really the thing that inspired me, is to continue that same level of giving and involvement with something like the Attention Home down here in the Carolinas, where we now live. That's
awesome. So you're talking about the Children's Home up in Michigan. So what is it that you personally connect with the missions of that home and the Children's Attention Home here? What is it that connects you with the mission of these organizations?
Yeah, so I think the thing that really connects me is when we started doing it in Michigan. And in Michigan, we do a Christmas party every year. So the money we raise from the golf outing, we go to and do a Christmas party. And just seeing the kids, right? I've been fortunate in my life that I have two great parents, and I've been fortunate to get education and live my life. And then you go and you see what these kids are going through, and really what the Attention Home does, and other organizations like them, to give these kids a better chance in life, and to take them from the situation they're in to a much better situation, and really provide them that care and that love and that guidance that they need to, hopefully, make their life better than the one they came from. And it really has always touched me and given me some energy to give back to them and do what I can to help those organizations. And I should just say myself, because it is as you said, it takes a village. My wife, my kids, some of my family members, some of my friends, they all have that same inspiration and energy, because they all help every year with both the outings that we run.
Okay, wonderful. That's awesome. So you guys still go up to Michigan to do, so you do this twice a year then?
Yeah, we do it. We make the trek every summer, and usually in Michigan, we're there for a week, and we do this on one weekend. And then obviously here, we've been trying to find the right weekend. Hopefully this year we found it. We've done fall. We did summer once where people melted. We're hoping this late spring is going to be a great time to do it down here.
So talk to a little bit about what it is that you do down here. What is I know that you do the golf outing up in Michigan. So talk about the one down here and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, so the one we have coming up down here this year is actually May 20th at the Lancaster Golf Club. We found a great partner in Lancaster. They're fantastic, and really it's a pretty standard golf outing, right? So it's a 4-man captain's choice that scramble, depending on where you're from. They call it different things. We bring people in, we'll play a round of golf. There's all the games that you would normally play. We have lunch and we have dinner afterwards. It's a great day of fun. There's enough competition, because there's a winner. Of course, we want to pay out. We're all a little bit competitive, but at the end of the day, it's all for the charity. We usually get anywhere from 10 to 20 teams that come out, and we're welcome and open to anyone who wants to play.
That's wonderful. Do you have a particular memory from doing this outing or from your time with the home that just stands out to you as that really, sticks with you?
Yeah, so I'm going to share 2 stories that really inspire me. And every time I get chills, every time I start to tell these stories to people. One was up in Michigan, and I was in college, and I had went there. I'd say I was probably like 18, maybe like my first year in college. And there was a little boy that I talked to for 15, 20 minutes at the Christmas party. And usually those kids, and I'm assuming this kind of happens at the detention home, they're usually only there a year or so. And usually you get placed, or hopefully you get placed in a foster care with a home with a family. And I came back a year later, and he remembered my name, where I was going to college, all this information. I was like blown away. So I went through and I became a quote unquote foster care parent, all except for the point that I couldn't bring a child into my home because I lived in a fraternity house. So, but it was really inspiring to me. Yeah. And then when we came down here and we hooked up with the attention home, I think it was the second year we did the golf outing, and I gave the money to you, Katie. And later that, I don't know if it was later that, that year, somehow I got the message that money was used to take a group of kids from the home to, one was to Atlanta and another group to the beach that had never seen the beach. And again, I've been fortunate in my life to have a lot of wonderful experiences. And the fact that we could give someone that experience and hopefully inspire them to do great things in their life just really, again, gives me that energy and my family that drive to keep doing this. And hopefully, give something back to those kids that inspires them for their life.
Well, that's wonderful. And yes, I remember that. Now that you're saying that, I remember that years. Had the one group go to Atlanta earlier I think it was spring break. And then we took the summer trip to the beach, and we have some fun things coming up for them for spring break and summer again this year. And it's just like you said, I've been fortunate to go on one trip with them where it was out of town, and it was really remarkable to see just their eyes open up, just opportunity and what, that there's more to see outside of the day to day. And so you're right. It makes a big difference, and it really does change their perspective and changes lives. So thank you for all that you do every year for us and what you do for the home up in Michigan. So if you could leave people with one thought or share one thing about the home that you want them to walk away with, what would that be? What would you share?
I think the one thing I always share is, many of us walk in different areas of life, and we don't get to, or I should say, we don't have to see some of the part of life that maybe you don't want to realize exists, right? You might see it on TV, you might see it in the news, but those, parts of life where children are disadvantaged or abused or other things happen every day. And some, the attention home and the Whaley home really are angels that come and help those kids. And you have to give back. If you can, you just have to do something to help, right? Because they need our help, and you're fortunate enough to give back, and you absolutely should be inspired by what the attention home and the Whaley home do for those kids that need our help so much.
Well, thank you so much, Brad, for all that you're doing for us and for the Whaley home. Like I said before, we can't do it without you. For those of you listening, over half of our budget actually comes from private donations, corporate support, grants, fundraisers like what you're doing, Brad. And so it truly makes our mission possible to provide the care for these kids that they need. And we continue to see those needs increase as the world changes. And so thank you so much for what you're doing. All of the information about the event that Brad and his group are hosting is on our website. So if you go to attentionhome.org/events, it's up there. So we encourage you to check that out. if you're interested in hosting a fundraiser to support the work that we're doing here at the Attention Home, you can find that on our website as well, at attentionhome.org/fundraise. And so we would love to talk with you about any ideas you have to get folks together. It's a great way to not only raise support for the home, but also, as Brad just shared, educate people about the work that we're doing. And people can't do anything until they know what's happening. And so education is key. So thank you so much for being with us today, Brad, and sharing your story. Thank you for those of you listening. And if you have any questions, you can find all of the information about our organization, including our phone number, at attentionhome.org. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a lovely rest of your day.